Hello everybody, welcome to Montezuma. It is a gray and well, was a little bit rainy earlier, a few sprinkles here and there. We'll see if our luck holds. I've seen a few birds since I arrived. I think we're up and running, including I've seen a northern harrier, or two, at least two. I've seen at least one or two, possibly two eagles. This is a northern harrier right now. There's a gull, and I've seen a few gulls flying around. I've seen a few ducks flying around. I've seen not much else. I may have seen a sparrow of one sort or another. May have seen a mallard. Oh, I did see a lot of ducks flying around. I couldn't, they were too far away to identify. But anyway, it's a cloudy day. But as long as it doesn't get rainy or too terribly windy, maybe we'll benefit. I just checked in on the chat room. I see a comment on fall colors. Yes, there are some very nice fall colors here. Unfortunately, now sometimes I've told you I don't really like sunshine on the tour, bright sunshine, because too often here at least it works against us. But it would be nice if we had some nice, beautiful sunshine to highlight these fall colors, but you can't have everything. So anyway, let's get underway. There's a rare duck out there, rare for here, I should say, and I heard about it, and it was Jane McGowan who spotted it and posted that it's here. So hopefully we'll see it. What we're going to be looking for, and it's a species of duck that looks a lot like a scaup, either a lesser scaup or a greater scaup. And this one is in partial eclipse plumage, so it's not in its normal full breeding plumage, which could be, confusing for us, or at least confusing for me. But anyway, we're going to be looking for a tufted duck. Looks a lot like a scaup, but with a tuft of feathers on the back of its head. So hopefully we'll see it. Now apparently other people are out there looking for it, so if maybe and you might say, well, oh, and it's on the main pool, by the way. You might say, well, how are we going to find it, especially if we're looking in a huge flock of ducks? Well, it might be a challenge. But if there are other people looking at it, we might at least benefit from knowing roughly where they're looking, or maybe if we speak with one. Although, even speaking with someone, let's say someone else has seen it. If you're looking into a flock of ducks on the water, it would be difficult to say, to point one out, because usually there aren't any very good reference points. And, even if you're standing side by side with someone, just being over, 1 foot away gives you, a different look than the next person. Very often, depending on distances, especially. Two people standing side by side, one person may say, "See I don't know, the brown bush right behind the bird." Well, to the person 1 foot over, it may not look like that is one, right behind. It may look like it's over a little way. So I mean, it's always difficult. Now I do see up ahead, looks like a number of cars, and we'll see if maybe we'll get to see the tufted duck. I've never heard of a tufted duck until this morning. I have seen a number of Canada geese, and not many. There weren't many, you know, near the visitor center area. This looks like a bunch of Canada geese right here, a flock. Hi, geese. It's 42 degrees, and sometimes if it's breezy at a given moment, it feels like it's 42 degrees. It's not the warmest of days. Call of some sort. I don't know, you know, every year is different, and who knows where we are in terms of the migration season. You know, sometimes we see lots of geese flying around. We haven't seen a lot of geese flying around. I mean, like constant flights all over the place here and there and back again. I don't know if I'm seeing that kind of activity. Didn't see that last week and haven't seen it yet this week, although we just got here. Some kind of duck out there. Oh, it's not a duck. Those are common gallinules, which are not ducks. And they're juveniles. Starting to see potholes here on Wildlife Drive. In case you haven't noticed, you know, and I don't usually focus on the road, but this is not a, you know, a fully paved road with asphalt. It has, I see another gallinule there, I think. Yes, common gallinule, youngster. And over, anyway, add that. See the group of cars, so who knows, maybe, of course, they could just happen to be there, or they might be looking for or actually seeing the tufted duck, so we'll see. That looks like a gadwall. Hi, gadwall. Gadwall. Just heard a mallard. Better lower the window so we can see a little better. Oops, sorry. Anybody else? Well, that looks like a northern shoveler there. Notice that's a male, and notice the very large bill. It's really noteworthy if it happens to face us. It's harder to tell at this angle, but a very prominent bill of a northern shoveler. Love shovelers. Okay. And who's here? A couple more gadwalls by the looks of it. Okay. Oh, hold on. A few more ducks over here. Looks like more gadwalls. My window, my driver window is open. That may be where I'm hearing sounds from, but I'm hearing gadwalls and hearing a mallard from this side. There are a number of ducks in the vicinity. Let's look over here first before we move on to the other side. Looks like gadwalls again. And you're hearing gadwalls. Those are the gadwalls. I just want to. Now, today is obviously Sunday, and I could say it's a school night, so I don't want to be on the tour extremely late today. I might end a little early. That looks like an American coot right there. I don't like this vegetation in the way. I think it's going to get worse. I shouldn't have moved on like I did. Let's see if I can find a clearing. Get these grasses. I heard that there's a good variety of diving ducks here today, and we've seen a decent variety ourselves, and we just started. So that's an American widgeon, and that diving there, that's a coot. It's, again, not a duck. Hey, who was that? Hold on a second. Okay. Now see, we're going to have to switch cameras. That, I believe, is a scaup right there. I'm having a hard time discerning colors with those. I don't know what's out there. Let's switch cameras and have a look, okay? Let me get this back. We're going to have a look as best we can. And maybe up further ahead is a better place to look. I don't know. Oh, come on. There we go. be only 78%. Lighten it up a little bit. So again, those are gad walls right there. And that's a coot there in the foreground. And that's an American widgeon right there. So that most of the vocalizations you're hearing, those are the gad walls. Now that is a scaup right there. And it's important to point that out. I'm not sure if it's a greater scaup or a lesser scaup, but we're looking for something that looks very much like a scaup, but has that tuft on the back of its head. And again, it apparently is in partial eclipse plumage, which means it's a transitional plumage. It's not in its breeding colors, for instance, so it may be harder to recognize. What I want to do, just for a moment, I'm going to let the camera sit for a moment. I just want to look. I just want to look with binoculars. Okay, which I have not yet done from here. Actually, well, maybe I'll do that in a minute. And again, this, I'm not saying it's in this grouping right here. If anything, I'd have to guess that it's not, just based on the number of cars I see up ahead, and they're still in that same spot, so. There are a lot of ducks overall here, and again, I may not be in the best spot, so. It was, again, it was Jay McGowan who posted about it, posted on eBird, and he's with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and he knows his stuff. And he's actually a person who, if someone posts about a rare bird sighting, he often will investigate. And if there's a redhead right there. If you have any video or whatever, he's going to look it over. So he's not one to, you know, take things lightly. Let's look in some of the other areas. So my point, there's another redhead there. My point is I trust his judgment, certainly. Sure, he could make a mistake. I mean, everybody can, but he knows his birds. And certainly a lot better than I do. Now, we also have, like that bird that just dove right there was probably not a scaup, but instead a ring-necked duck, but I'm not positive, but it looked like one to me, a female. Oh, who was that? I'm not sure. I mean, my understanding is that we should be able to see canvasbacks, redheads. We're seeing redheads already. I haven't seen a canvasback yet. And I'll try not to let this get boring. I don't want to look forever and not find something. And look, even if we happen to see the tufted duck, I'm not saying that there are going to be fireworks and excitement. I mean, it's, you know, it's a bird I've never seen before, never heard of it until this morning. Now, see that bird there? It looks a lot like a scaup, but notice, like, towards the front there's almost like a pointed area of the white. That's one of the ways to distinguish, if you can't see the bill, that from a scaup. That is a ring-necked duck. And that was a scaup, I believe. They're very similar in appearance overall, but there are some details that at least I know of that that helped me anyway. That's a scaup there. See, very similar appearance, but none of that, not that spear or pointed area of white towards the front of the body on the side. So those are scaups, and if they have a pointed head, like a prominent point, chances are they're lesser, I believe. Lesser scaup as opposed to greater scaup. I may be wrong on that. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. We're doing this over long distances, so it's difficult, of course. What am I hearing? I wonder what I was just hearing. I don't know if the microphone picked it up or not, and I'm hesitant to try to duplicate the sound. See that? Is that a redhead? Yeah, that might be a redhead. Yeah, that is a redhead. Somehow the side looked more white than normal, but no, that's the gray side of a redhead. So we haven't seen a scarp yet, or I'm sorry, a canvasback yet. Now that, yes, see, reddish head now, but more white body. That is a canvasback. That's a male canvasback right there. If you can't, get a good look at the head, the head is a different shape than that of a redhead. But we can't see it very well right now, but we can see the white body, so that's a canvasback. Oh, that may have been another one that just dove. I don't know. Okay, I want to, without losing my place, where I've gone through, I need to reset the way I have my camera here. I'm running out of room the way I have things set up. That is a female ringneck duck. You can see she has a brown head like a scaup, but the thing is, it's not completely brown. It's more like a cap when you look at her from the side. Watch when she raises her head. See, it's more like a cap of brown instead of being a more uniform brown. Better look at a canvasback right there. See the more sloped head down to the bill, down to the tip of the bill. It's just a more sloped, angular look. Okay, I've got to reset here. See, that, swimming there, that's a redhead. Rounded head, gray body, and here's a canvasback here. Red head, yes, but a more whitish body. Red head, canvasback. And two right next to each other now, the red head, canvasback. Okay, so now you know. Okay, the vegetation is getting more challenging now. Hold on one second. Okay, well, a lot of cars piling up. I've got to reset my camera. Hold on. Okay. That's the way I have it sitting on the window. That's what I meant. So it's difficult to see because we've got vegetation in the way. Sorry about that. unfortunately my little screen here is not large enough for me to get a, sometimes a passing glimpse of something won't be good enough for me to realize what I'm looking at. We're going to have to move, I think, pretty soon. This is I mean, out there the grasses that are nearby are really in our way. People like Jay McGowan, I think, have more patience than I do when looking over flocks of birds like this. And, they'll look, maybe, I don't know if they look at every single bird, but they notice, special sightings a lot easier than I do, just because I maybe don't have the patience to look at every single bird. And also they know their birds better than I do. And they know what to look for better than I do. Alright, we're going to move because this is just getting too difficult to see very well. And we're going to see if maybe we can get a better view up ahead. So I'm going to leave everything in place right now. Okay, there are a lot of ducks here. I just hope we can find a good spot, and a number of them are now in flight. I guess this is as bad or as good a spot as any. Let's stop right here, I guess. I wonder if he sees it. 1 second. I don't know. Okay, let me reset things. So like I said, there are quite a few ducks here, and it can be difficult, obviously, to see one individual duck in such a large flock of ducks. And quite honestly, binoculars, you know, they're not quite right for the job. They don't have enough reach, and the scope can have enough reach, but the you know, the field of view is narrow. And look, we'll try to see it. If we don't see it, we don't see it. I'm not going to, you know, I don't want to be here all day looking for it. So don't worry about that. You see the canvas backs, we're seeing a few of those here in this area. It's not quite a needle in a haystack, but it's, you know, I should switch cameras for a moment and just show you what we're up against. Maybe I'll do that. Vegetation is not helping. Hearing some Canada geese in the air, and there are a couple flocks in the air. Oh, that's a ruddy. Oh, that one that just dove was a ruddy duck, female. That is also a red duck. That's a male. Looks like there are more ruddy ducks back there. This vegetation is tough here. Let's Now there's always a chance that the tufted duck has left, but it's kind of unlikely. It was in with the flock apparently, and decent chance that, and it wasn't too long ago, by the way. Obviously anything can happen, but we just don't have a great spot here. I mean, we have a decent spot, but not a great one. There's another ruddy duck right there. See the white face there? Relatively small. There's a female there, and the male, there's a male right there who's kind of snoozing. Ruddy ducks, that is. Is that a female canvasback? Yes, that's a female canvasback, I believe, right there. Same shape as a male, but you know, different colors. There's a male. I'm going to take a bit of a break here just to show you what we're up against in terms of the field of ducks. I mean, we're having a, you may think it's, I mean, this shows you, this gives you some indication, but let me switch cameras for a moment. I hear sandhill cranes. I don't know where they are yet. I might see them. I'm not sure, but my other camera's actually in the way. Grass is in the way. Oh, come on. Let me look at binoculars. Oh, I think I see one. Oh, come on, autofocus, would ya? So annoying. Oh, I can't get it, sorry. Anyway, let me switch cameras back. Hold on, I'm going to look around a bit. Well, we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to stay on this the whole day. Just too many ducks to see to do that. And I don't have a great spot from which to do it. If I were just standing outside, using my scope only, this would actually might be easier for me. But I'm not doing that, and I can't stand here anyway. Not supposed to. Hold on. I hear cranes again. I don't see them, but I hear them. Or I was hearing them. There's another thing, you know, this vegetation you see in the distance, it hides a lot of ducks, so you never know. Ooh, that's a pied-billed grebe right there. That's not a duck. That just dove. Don't worry, just a few more minutes of this and I think we're going to move on. There's only so much time in the day. And if we don't see the tufted duck, we won't see the tufted duck. Like I said, it won't look that much different than a scaup. It's very much like it, actually. I've seen some pictures. Okay, I think we're going to move on. We're just not going to see it this way, and we only have so much time. This might bore everybody. Again, I'd like to see it, but you know, there are a lot of things I'd like to see today, and you know, we've got to weigh everything. You look? Oh well. Just passed by a gentleman. He's looking for the tufted duck, and he hasn't had any luck yet. And he knows his birds better than I do. He's the one who told me that it is here, and also they told me inside the visitor center that there's one here, or at least one was spotted. But I can't look over every single duck here. It'll drive you guys crazy, and it'll drive me crazy. So. We did, you know, we've seen a nice variety though, if you think about it. I mean, we've seen canvasbacks, we've heard a mallard, I don't know if we've seen one yet. We've seen American widgeons, gadwalls. We've seen one northern shoveler, redheads, lesser, scops of one sort or another. I'm not sure if they're lesser or greater. See a northern harrier in the distance. I'm just looking with binoculars right now. Let's see, like I said, binoculars have a nice wide field of view, but they don't have the magnification. We're going to keep going. There's always a chance I'm missing one species of duck that I'd love to see. You know, like last week we saw one bufflehead, a female bufflehead. And maybe, you know, it would be nice to know that one is there. But we don't have time to look over every single duck that's here. Every single bird, I should say, because they're not all ducks. I just saw another pied-billed grebe. We're seeing American coots, which again are not ducks. But we're gonna keep going. I think I've said this before. I love seeing these, you know, large flocks of ducks. I think it's wonderful. But it's a challenge if you're trying to determine exactly, you know, who is in these flocks. And it involves a lot of time and patience if you're, you know, really looking things over. And, you know, maybe the best way is with a scope and just slowly looking over the whole field. the thing is, we could sit there for hours and look and still fail to find. I think I see a crow. Still fail to find, you know, the one individual duck that we're looking for. It might not even be there. It might be hidden behind vegetation out of view. So don't get me wrong, I don't like giving up, but we only have so much time, and a lot of things I'd like to try to see today if possible. Thought I just heard cranes again. I did. Let's stop right here. I'm going to switch. Don't know where they are, but I hear cranes, sandhill cranes. I don't see them. Let me see if I can look with binoculars. I don't see them, but I'm hearing them. There could be a, you know, just an area where they are behind vegetation out there, and you know, if I don't know how deep the water is everywhere. Unless they were flying over, but I didn't see anybody in the air. I just heard a call that almost sounded like a. It almost sounded like a Caspian tern, but I'm not sure. Well, okay, let's keep moving on. Leave everything in place for now. Look at a widgeon. Well, lighting's not good. Well, not bad, but probably better than most of the time here. But we're going to keep going. I do see some mallards now. I actually see them. Let's keep going. Let's take a look at this. Is it a widgeon right here? Looks like it. Oh. some reason. That road just took off. Don't know why. You know you're supposed to be in your vehicle, but anyway, go ahead.
How good are you at IDing? There's a duck that I have never seen before.
What's it look like?
It's got a, it's not the tufted one that everybody's looking for. It's got a brown head, but it's got yellow right down.
Probably thinking about American Widgeon.
The top, and then it's got like, the wings are like striped.
I didn't see the wings, but you're probably thinking American Widgeon.
Okay.
The white on the head.
It's kind of yellowish.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look that up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just saw, I think, a heron of some sort. Not sure what kind. Didn't look like a great blue heron, but I may be wrong. She really shouldn't be out of her vehicle, and she may have just startled all those ducks. The heron, whatever it was, it looked like a heron, landed. I can't see it. There's vegetation in the way. And I don't know if it was a great blue heron. I don't think it was. It may have been something else, but I may be wrong. Another piebald grebe right nearby. Cute. Grass is here, nothing going on, nothing going on. Looks like some waterfowl or something up ahead here. I see looks like a Canada goose and maybe a few gulls. Not much going on here. This looks like it might be a duck over here though. Come on, don't do that. Oh, who's that? That could... Is that a teal? Might be. Not sure if it's blue-winged or green-winged, but I think it might be. Looks like a gadwall there. Who's over here? There's some Canada goose over here. Okay. I think that might be a green-winged teal, but I'm not sure. Someone just landed, some duck of some sort, and there's something else here. Well, let's see if I can get it. Yeah, we may have seen that one already. Who's that? I think it's a gadwall. Okay. I don't know why the road is not, you know, an asphalt road, but I can guess. You know, why do they just have it covered with rocks, and, you know, it's harder to drive on, and I have a feeling it's because it's harder to drive on, and you know, it encourages everyone to keep to a relatively low speed. It can be annoying at times, but I think overall it's good to have it that way. I can just imagine if it were a nice smooth road, you know, often, especially people who aren't really, you know, dedicated bird watchers, if they're just here, you know, because they, I don't know, they heard that there were eagles here, and they just drive right through in a big hurry. I can imagine them doing so at a rate of speed that just really wouldn't be good for the wildlife. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras, I think. See if there's anything here of interest. I see something white. Might be a gull though. Looks like a gull. And there are a few ducks, including some shovelers and some gadwalls. Some mallards. We may not stay here at all. Haven't seen any wood ducks yet today. It's just interesting how things change, you know. Over the summer, you know, very often we would see a lot of wood ducks here and there, young ones maybe, but we would see them. Nowadays, we're not really seeing them very much. Still not seeing them. Okay, let's keep going. So I may have seen a heron that was, you know, briefly in flight and then very quickly out of my view. I'm not sure what it was. And I say a heron meaning a bird in the heron family. Somehow I didn't think it was a great blue heron, so it seemed a little smaller. Oh, I see a double-crested cormorant in the air. Maybe we'll see more of them up ahead, but oh, come on. Anyway, there it was. But, you know, as of this moment, I haven't seen any great blue herons, for you know, with any certainty. Any green herons, certainly. Any egrets. Any bitterns. I would guess there still would be some great blue herons around. Maybe a few here and there. But that's just a guess. I mean, it's still October, so it's still a little early for them to be completely out of the area. As I mentioned in recent weeks, I've seen them pretty late in the year. I can't remember if I once saw one in January during a fairly mild winter. I might have, but I've definitely seen them in, on Thanksgiving Day. I think I've seen them in December. But that ends up being more, the exception rather than the rule. And it's not like in the spring and summer where they're, we see them by the dozens or more even. Hold on a second. Pied-billed grebe, a gadwall or two. Okay. All right, there are some ducks here, and I'm going to look them over quickly with binoculars first. And a great blue heron. Now we have a number of ducks here. They look to be primarily American widgeons and gadwalls. But let's look here first, just across the area. So, like I said, widgeons and gadwalls. The great blue heron is here. Hi, heron. I mean, you never know. This could be the last heron we see this year. It's always a possibility. That looks like a pied-billed grebe right there. He just dove. It's too bad, it'd be nice to see something really special here because the lighting is actually, for a change on a relative basis, it's actually decent. It's just, nothing is backlit. It's all nicely, evenly lit with the cloudy day. Oh. I just heard, who's this in the air? Sandhill crane. Hi, crane. Told you. You didn't believe me, but I told you. Wait a second. That couldn't be, could it? No, it's good. was wondering for a moment, I didn't think it was, but what I was wondering for a moment is, could it possibly have been a male northern harrier? They have a lighter color scheme. Oh, I see another great blue heron. Unless it's the same heron. Nope, it's a different heron in the air. I don't see it now, but so 2 great blue herons. Oh, come on. Can't do it. Can't focus because there's some raindrops hitting the windshield, and the autofocus is focusing on them stupidly. It looks like Canada geese flying in anyway. Let's quickly look here. What I should do, actually, I should probably look with binoculars first. Let me just do that for a moment. 1 second. Looks like more of the same, you know, gadwalls and American widgeons. So we're going to keep going. Let's keep going. Hold on 1 second. I want to look at this tree across the road. Not sure what's in the tree across the road. It's a bunch of, you know, maybe red-winged blackbirds, but it could be starlings rolling out. In a way, the day seems quiet, but in a way, I mean, you think about it, we've seen quite a few species, actually. But, you know, this time of year, you're not going to see, we're seeing more ducks than we would in the spring, well, in the summer anyway, than we likely would. But we're not seeing, you know, sparrows and yellowthroats and warblers. We're not seeing anything like that, so. It's always changing. I guess that's why it's... I look like starlings. Okay. So there are some flocks of Canada geese here. There's a group anyway. There might be a shovel in front of me. So I believe that's a shoveler there, and this might be a shoveler here. Yes, looks like it. That's a male. The other was a female. Who's this nearby? Another shoveler. Look at that. The bill is very, well, can't see it on the water, but and gadwalls are here also. Some Canada geese that you're hearing. More geese here on the water. I believe you're seeing them as I drive by. Who's this with them? These are gadwalls. Well, looks like a net. Oh, that's good. Heron in flight. Maybe the same heron I saw in flight earlier. And no longer in sight. It was, of course, a great blue heron. But you know, just a couple weeks ago in this stretch here, we were seeing a lot of great egrets. We're not seeing, I haven't seen any egrets yet. I don't know if I'll see any today. I have a feeling I won't. But you never know. I don't mean to shortchange this, but you know, I don't want to spend too much time looking over, you know, things that might be, you know, of a been there, done that nature. You know, if I love seeing Canada geese, but for instance, I don't want to look at every single Canada goose. Have that bore everybody. And sometimes, you know, as I've said before, sometimes it's not the species so much as something else. Maybe it's just the number of them. I mean, maybe you have, in a very small area, 1,000 Canada geese, for instance. That can be interesting to see. Or maybe it is the backdrop is beautiful and it highlights the you know, whatever bird you're looking at. That's why, for instance, you know, it's worth it to go to sapsucker in the wintertime. You know, even if you say, well, I've seen every species that's going to be around at sapsucker in winter. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can accept that. But you never know. Maybe you'll see, you know, black-capped chickadee or something, you know, with, I don't know, nice, you know, icicles behind it or something. Who knows? Okay, so it's mostly Canada geese and gadwalls in this area, so we're going to keep going. when it comes to bird watching, I mean, a lot of it depends on the bird watcher. If you're going out specifically to see one species, then you might bypass everything else you encounter and, you know, not care about it. You just want to see the one bird. Or if you just want to see the species only, and that's all you care about, any species, that's fine. But if you're someone who wants to take artistic photos or videos, you may have a different way of looking at things. And maybe, you know, let's say a black-capped chickadee again, you may see one and think, well, okay, it's there, it's just on a tree limb, nothing special, I don't care. But or you just note you just note it and say, okay, good, I've seen one, then you move on. But if you're interested in taking special photographs, maybe you see that same bird in the same situation, maybe it does have a nice background, or it's doing something interesting, or whatever, and you may look at it differently and stay there for 20 minutes taking pictures. It all depends on, it very much depends on the bird watcher. When I used to, you know, spend my time taking still photos, if I would see something, you know, I might spend 10 minutes taking pictures, even though the bird isn't moving. Or I should say, not moving around. Maybe it's occasionally changing its positioning or something. Maybe as it's preening, you know, sometimes it's just the shot I want, sometimes it's not. The first, who is this? I think it's a red-tailed hawk. Hi, hawk. Could be the same hawk we saw in this area last week. Hi, baby. Cute. This is through the windshield, so it's not ideal. Looks like it's drying off its feathers a bit. The first photo I ever posted to Flickr was of a great blue heron at Sapsucker Woods. I don't know if it was dead heron or not. I guess I could probably possibly look at my all the photos I took that day and maybe determine if it was or in fact dead. I don't know. But anyway, I do remember seeing that heron in a tree, and you know, bare branch tree, so it was easy to take photos of. I just stood there and took photo after photo after photo. And I believe, if I remember right, you know, I think I just heard a robin. Anyway, we're done with Wildlife Drive. Let me pull over here for a second. I've got to attend to something. Oh, and I think, did I just see a red-winged blackbird? Possibly, or else it was a grackle, I'm not sure. But anyway, like I said, I mean, I took photo after photo that day. I believe I left before the heron did, so it's not like it took off and and then I moved on. I think I took photo, you know, after a while I was, you know, okay, felt I caught the photo I wanted and moved on. Another person might have been like, okay, there's a great blue heron, noted, have a quick look at it and then move on. It matters what you're looking for. Over Shockey Pool, I just saw a great blue heron in flight. Just so you know. Clay's point, we really haven't had any luck of late. And you might think, well, why not just skip it? And, you know, it's not necessarily a bad idea. But you just never know, and it's right there, so it only takes us a few minutes to go there, so that's why I keep going there. Over the channel we just passed, I just saw another great blue heron, just so you know. It was right next to the channel, but not in the water. So the great blue herons are still around. We're going to keep going here. I may lose you because of you know, poor signal. We're heading to Armitage Road. I'm tempted. I wonder if we should go to the Sandhill Crane Unit, but I don't know if that's worth it. I do see a flock of Canada geese in the air. Not supposed to be counting when I'm driving, but maybe, I know it should be fewer. You're babbling through this. Yes. Now, the reason why I want to head to Armitage Road is, you may recall last week we were there. I see some pictures. Last week we were there, and it looked like they were harvesting the corn. And if the field is cleared, that might draw some you know, some birds there, and it's worth checking out in my opinion. Last year we did not have that opportunity. For whatever reason, they seemed to harvest, I don't know, very late. We never saw, I don't know if we ever even saw everything get harvested, but this year they were harvesting last Saturday. Oh. Just saw something I didn't like. Hold on. I have to see what it is. It's a dead red-tailed hawk. I'm going to take it out of the road. I don't know. I'll be with you in a minute. And just this shows you how dangerous, you know, things are. And, you know, even for the adults. I didn't bury it, of course. I don't know, I just didn't want it in the road. It's just, you know, it's just a shame, but that's what happened. You know, maybe it was going after prey. There's another creature of some sort. Looks like a rodent in the road. Well, a rodent, it could be a... I probably should have moved it even farther from the road than I did. Out of respect for the hawk. Sorry, baby. I just saw up ahead a squirrel running across the road. I mean, it could have been chasing after a squirrel. Who knows? Or, I mean, it might have been, we'll never know, of course, but it might have been that it was near the road, took off just because it was heading up to a perch, and then was hit by a car. Anything can happen. So this is the area where I wanted to visit. Now last week, as I said, they were harvesting at least, well, I don't know if they've harvested much or they just did this one section. I can't tell. The patch we're passing right now is darker looking, and it's been harvested, no doubt, than other patches. Well, looks like things are harvested. I'm not gonna, well, let me give you a quick look around here. Looks like things are harvested, but I don't see, at least with the naked eye, anything special in terms of birds. So, we're gonna move on. I think we're gonna skip the sandhill crane unit today. Maybe that we won't go back there until spring. I don't know. I'm just concerned that it's going to be like last week and essentially be more of the same that we were already seeing. I'm waiting for a car to pass us so that we can continue on. You know, it doesn't seem like it's late, but it's almost 2 o'clock, and you know, I have to be mindful of the time always. But, you know, especially on a day like today, gray and dark, you know, we don't have an excess of time in Ithaca, so that's why we're moving right along. The other thing is there might be some rain coming tonight. I don't know when, but I think maybe later. But if possible, I'd rather not drive home in it. Especially if there's any mixing with snow. I don't think there's going to be any mixing with snow, but was a possibility this morning. You know, rain and or snow, but I haven't seen any sign of any snow anywhere in my travels so far today. So we're on East Road right now. See a crow. Hope I didn't damage my tripod. I used a shovel to get the red-tailed hawk out of the road, and one of my tripods fell to the road out of my trunk, and I saw one little thing, you know, a bubble level fall off of it. Can't say I was happy about that. Seemed to have lost a wing in the collision, and I had to separately move a wing to the side of the road. Maybe I shouldn't give you the details. There's more, I would say there's more water down there, and no surprise. I mean, it has been rainy, and there are quite a few birds down there. If I had to guess, they're mostly Canada geese, but I don't know yet. Now, last week when we were here, we saw only 2 sandhill cranes. And then I think we came back, if I recall correctly, and they were gone. So I only saw them for a short while, and then they were gone. I'm going to have a look at things with binoculars first, and then we'll try out other cameras and things. Oh, I do see cranes this time. More cranes. Yeah, let's stop the car right here and we'll give it a try. Before I switch cameras, let me give you a general look at things. Wait a second here. I hear a mallard. Anyway, you can see is that a crane? I don't know. But scattered quite a bit, but there are quite a few cranes. Fair number anyway. And lots of Canada geese. Those look like ducks. They've just taken off. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the teleconverter on the scope, and given the fact that the sandhill cranes are so far away, I think that might be a decent idea. And because it's not really sunny out, hopefully we won't have, you know, an excess of air distortion like we usually do. So let me take a moment to do that, and then we'll have a look as best we can. Now there are, you know, there are some disadvantages to the teleconverter. That's why I don't always have it on, and that is a more limited field of view and everything like that. So that's why it's not on all the time. And, you know, for instance, when there are birds in flight, very often I really don't want the very limited field of view. Hold on a second. Come on. Oops. Really messed this up. Okay. Almost ready. I should have been ready already, but I'm not. I don't know why the battery's really not living up to normal use today. I'm going to have to change the battery pretty soon, actually. I think I hear a swamp sparrow. Hear a blue jay. I've heard some mallards. Look like ducks in the air. Let's skip over to the sandhill cranes now a bit. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to do that. Gotta find them. Oh, let's do this. Oh, who's that? Oh, looks like a goose. Canada goose. Yeah, maybe I should be out on standing out there with on my, using the tripod, but I might just stay in the car today, I think. For here anyway. Oh, come on. That one just looks lighter than the others. That's why I'm kind of focusing on it right now. But it looks like a sandhill crane. Doesn't it look lighter? Put your head up again. We want to see you. And look at the others. They're all a darker gray than that one is. Could be just something about the way it's positioned or something, but it just seems... Oh, okay, now it's getting better. There's another one doing the same thing. Okay. The battery's going to go any moment now, so maybe I should stop and change it. Let's do that. I'm going to start getting the battery ready here. Okay, I'm going to change the battery. Looks like a swan there. The first white bird we've seen today. You haven't seen any swans or egrets or, well, actually I take it back. We've seen some, obviously some gulls. But I mean, we haven't seen any snow geese. Those pintails by any chance? They might be. Cute. Not sure if they are or not.
Of extra special interest?
Well, it depends on what you consider special. Do you like
I always debate how to phrase that.
Do you like sandhill cranes?
Well, they'd be nice to see. You got a couple?
There are quite a few down there, not really in the water, but over to the right.
In the green area?
More to the right, and you'll see them. I mean, you'll see some gray mixed in the green, yes.
Yeah. I was not expecting them in the higher vegetation, but...
Take a look.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I got it.
No problem. Minor takeoff. It's not like everybody's taking off. We're not going to be here too much longer, though, I don't believe. And considering the gentleman I just spoke with, I believe, came from the other end of East Road, the one that we have not actually been at yet. I doubt there are any sandhill cranes that are right near there. I've in the past seen some right near there after things had been harvested, but I have a feeling he'd be taking their pictures if that were the case. Okay, I think we're going to move on. Now, who knows? I mean, there could be, for instance, a white-fronted goose here or something that we're not seeing. It's always a possibility. But again, we only have so much time, and I only have so much patience. Especially when I'm doing this like this. If I were by myself, looking through scope, maybe I'd look with in a more systematic fashion and see things a little better. But there are some pintails, without a doubt. Now, those are males right there. See the whitish breast and the dark heads. Not sure who that is.
Probably seen him. There's a northern harrier down there hunting too.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm not surprised.
Right about where the cranes were, and it dropped down to the right of them.
Thank you.
Quite a ways away to see him well, but that white rough patch helps.
I don't see anything right now. Let's take one more look at the cranes, and then we're going to be out of here, I think, unless something pops up. Okay, 1 second. I want to see what's coming in. Looks like more Canada geese. And I think we're going to head out. Okay. All right, let me switch cameras. I'll say this. I think the amount of water down there, for our purposes, or for what I'm hoping to see in the coming weeks, isn't too bad. It's not like it's all dry. I do wish some of the vegetation weren't as tall as it is down there, because there may be, well, I've seen more water down there at this time of year, I should say. Quite a bit more, actually. Or at least I should say quite a bit more area covered by standing water without vegetation blocking the view. And, you know, I mean, it's nice when we see, and we have seen in the past, large flocks of, for instance, the snow geese down there. Now, we were lucky, I think it was last spring, we saw a large flock down there. The prior year, we hadn't really seen any down there. Our timing was off, and I think we stopped coming up here, and then they may have come up here like, or maybe we were here one Saturday, and they came up here the following day or 2 days later. I don't remember. Hold on a second, I see something. I gotta let it. I think I see a red-tailed hawk, but it might be something else. If we can. Looks like one. You know, having seen the dead one in the road, it reminds you, you know, if you like hawks, to appreciate them always. And I do like hawks, so I want to make sure I appreciate them always. The point is, you know, whatever it is you like, never take it for granted. it's easy to take them for granted. You know, I saw a number of them on my way here today, here and there, and it's easy to, we're going to move on. It's easy to just, you know, very quickly forget that, you know, obviously they're birds, and really all the birds are fragile. All life is fragile when you think about it. It's just nice to appreciate it when you can. This, as we're about to drive by, don't know if you can really see it, this hill on our right. And also back a little ways, yeah, actually it was back a little ways where there was a field, and I believe it's a cornfield. We've seen sandhill cranes in that field. And had a, you know, a pretty good look at them. Not just this past spring when we saw the adults and their young colt, as they're called, but I've on a couple occasions seen cranes there in you know, significant numbers. And if you can get there without spooking them, you can get a decent look. The problem is they, you know, even if you don't frighten them outright, they might just tend to walk away, and by the time you're set up, they're not giving you super close-ups anymore. See, morning dove. We will make a stop at Mays Point. I see a great blue heron in that channel we just passed. Actually on a tree, a branch right above it. I may have seen that heron already, I don't know. We'll do what we've normally done of late, and that is drive through. I could lower the windows and listen for... Oh, who do I see? I see a hawk. Hi, baby. Hopefully he'll give us a look. Hi, baby. And you know, I'm going to park the car, and if I can, I'm going to get a look at it. A real look. Oh, it took off. Shoot. Well, we might still get a good look anyway. It landed a little bit farther, but let's see what we can do. I still have the teleconverter on, so that brings things in a little closer. I think I hear, I don't know what I hear. Looks like a juvenile. I hear a chickadee. I hear it's either a hairy or a downy woodpecker. Pretty birdie. Alright, we're going to move on. Like I said, appreciate them when you can. Let me just look around with binoculars before we move on. Okay, nobody else really around that I can see. So let's switch cameras again. Our hawk just moved to another nearby tree. Hope that wasn't because of me, but it would have moved anyway. I think I just saw a dark-eyed junco, but I'm not sure. Looked like one. Car behind me now, and it was in a hurry, so I have a feeling if I did startle that hawk a little bit, behind me definitely would have startled the hawk behind me. Driving. So I will park the car and just run out and take a quick look to see if there's anything worth stopping and watching here. Chances are there won't be, but you never know. Like I said, we haven't seen much here lately, but there's always that chance. I mean, that's why we are here. So I'll be right back, and we'll see if it's worth getting out of the car. surprise, surprise, not much here. So we're gonna keep going. Just do one or two things here first before we move on. I did see a few northern shovelers there. I saw a Canada goose flying overhead. Saw a gull in the water, and that was just about it. And there might have been a lot more. As I showed you before, there are tall grasses there, and I believe there's more water than is easily viewed. So there may be ducks, in that water, hidden by the grasses. But whether they're there or not, hidden is hidden, and we wouldn't be able to see them. We might be able to hear them if they vocalize, but. Now it is raining lightly. We'll see. We may still climb the tower. I don't know. I may just climb the tower myself and have a look and see if it's worth looking. Now, the northern harriers we've seen the last couple weeks could be flying around, and maybe they'd be worth watching. But we've seen them flying around and doing a lot of that lately. And in fact, I did post some video of the harriers we saw last week, if you're interested. But I wonder if it's worth staying here today. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I just did, and that is I'm going to get out, have a look, and see if it's worth spending time here. If not, we're going to move on. Well, I did see one northern harrier flying around in the distance. Saw you know, a couple quick glimpses of ducks in flight, but other than that, there's nothing here. And I mean, the northern harriers could start taking off and everything a lot, but it doesn't. You know, who knows? We're not going to wait for that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to Ithaca, because I'm not. I might see an eagle up in a tree, at the top of a tree. I'm not even going to bother to show it to you. It's very distant. So I think we're going to pack up and head back to Ithaca. Let's say roughly 4:15. Okay, so maybe 4:15. I hope to restart somewhere there. Okay? Okay. All right, everybody. I'll see you in a little while. Bye-bye.